3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running.
Whether you've been married 1 or 20 plus years, at some point, you realized you were married into crazy.
And that's what our podcast is all about. We offer love, laughter, and a dose of reality as we unpack this crazy thing called marriage.
So sit back, relax, and get your ear hustle on. It's time to start the conversation.
All right, let's go.
Clicking. Now we're recording.
Okay, welcome to the Married into Crazy podcast with Snooks and Lovey. This is Snooks.
Yeah, I'm Lovey.
Okay, so this is episode 139, take 2. I'm just going to tell you why it's take 2, because Lovey did not record the first part. We've been talking for 25 minutes. And then he was like, oh, wait a minute. What happened? Oh man. And this is good stuff because we keep scores. We keep tabs. So next time I do something wrong, I'm going to just say, remember episode 139. And I'm not going to have to say anything else.
You won't have to say anything else.
Okay, go
ahead. And you know what? You hear another voice on here laughing because this is going to be the second installment of our Him and Her Health series. And if you think back to the first one that we had James Martin on, and we were talking about financial literacy. Well, this evening, we're bringing on another expert. We're bringing on another person that's going to talk about the other thing that causes the most challenges within a marriage. First is finances, or I should say one of the others is finances, which we've already discussed. Tonight, we're going to be talking about sex. And for that, we're bringing on Mrs. Mavis McKnight, who is a certified sex coach. And luckily, she is. I'm glad we're virtual because she would probably try and choke me if we were sitting across from each other, because literally we were into this thing like almost 20 minutes or so when I realized that we were not recording.
I'd be like, get in line, Mavis. I'm going to choke him first. So,
but it's okay. So I think it's apropos to say that Lovey, the man, on this tandem, this duo for the podcast.
wow.
I was a little premature. So, Miss Mavis, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you.
Oh, please tell us a little bit about your background and your journey to becoming a sex coach.
For the second time.
Okay. Okay. So yes, I'm a certified sex coach, and I am married to a pastor. And the way that I got started talking about sexual wellness and sharing it with the body of Christ is that my husband, once we got married, I asked God to give me what I needed to help him. So he gave me the women's ministry, and I started asking God what to do with these women because I certainly did not know. So he led me to the Word of Life bookstore, and I didn't know why. I got inside, and I'm looking around just at some books about prayer for women, scriptures for women. And so I picked up the books, wasn't feeling the books too much, and I headed to the cash register to pay for them. And something compelled me to look to my right, and there was a bookshelf with one book sitting there all by itself. And the book was called Intimate Issues, 21 Questions Christian Women Ask About Sex. Mm-hmm. So I thumbed through the book, and I knew at that point that was why God had led me to the Word of Life bookstore. So I started reading it because I was reading on my lunch, and I was about 3/4 of the way done with the book, walking back from lunch at work, and God spoke to my spirit, and he said, this is what I want you to do. I want you to teach married Christian women to enjoy sex with their husbands. It's what I created you to do. Mm-hmm. So from that point on, I dove in, and I've been sharing this message ever since.
Wow.
That's beautiful. But
that's incredible.
I'm going to have to point this out, like I did on the recording that nobody can hear
No one,
because it wasn't recorded. But I do want to point, you said something that I think is crucial.
Mm-hmm.
You said a few things already, but the main thing is you said, what was the focus again? To help Christian women?
Wives learn to enjoy sex with their husbands.
See, and I know that for our male listeners out there, people, the gentlemen that are listening,
Christian
their
wives.
ears perked up because they said all they heard was to help Christian wives enjoy sex with their husbands. And the gentlemen are probably thinking, well, wait a minute. What about the husband? Shouldn't the husband enjoy sex? And I just want to say, bruh, this is for you. If your wife is enjoying the sex, I guarantee you're enjoying the sex. So it's okay to have that focus. Am I right?
Yes, you're absolutely right. Absolutely. And I asked you to say it again before, and I'm going to ask you to say it again now because that's so important. And too many people just don't know that.
Mhm.
So say
It's
that
true.
again.
Okay, so you want to say it again?
Say it again.
Look, fellas, look, it should be unspoken, but I'm just going to say it anyway, is that don't get so hung up on, she said that she's helping Christian wives enjoy sex with their husbands. And you're like, oh, what about me? Look, if your wife is enjoying sex, you're enjoying the sex.
Mhm.
Guaranteed.
Amen.
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 So
Love
I
it.
I had asked the question about why sex is so taboo. So Mavis was giving me a history lesson about where that came from. So can you share that again, please?
Yes, it started with the Catholic Church back in the day because the Catholic Church controlled the moral compass of society, and the church did not want sex to be an issue. So they basically put their own hangups on the church and on the Catholic priests. They told the Catholic priests that they could not marry nor could they have sex while they were, in the priesthood. So Martin Luther, who started the Reformation movement, which is to reform these beliefs, he did research and he found out that none of that was true. He went to the scriptures and he didn't find out one scripture that said that the Catholic priest could not marry nor have sex. So he started, he stepped away from the church and, caused a lot of division in the church. But in order for the church to combat what he was saying, they hired the Dr. Kellogg, who created Kellogg's cornflakes, and he was a health expert, and a lot of his health suggestions worked. So when they hired him to figure out some kind of way to keep people from having sex, he created cornflakes basically. Well, he created the cornflakes to keep people from masturbating, okay, because he said that was a sin. But he started telling the Catholic, the Pope, or the people that were in charge, that sex was a sin, and that sex was dirty, masturbation was a sin, and that none of it should be done. So the hangups he had, he put them off on the church, and the church believed it and just rolled with it because he was an expert in another area. And what was so incredible about his story was that he was married for 40 years, and he and his wife never consummated their marriage. They were celibate the whole 40 years of their marriage because of his hangups about sex. So that's pretty much where it came from.
See, that's why cornflakes
Yeah.
are so bland.
And yes, and because cornflakes are so bland because they're supposed to be some kind of medication, I guess,
Wow.
to
Wow.
keep young men from masturbating because they felt
Well,
they were
I've heard
doing
a
it too
lot
much.
of I've heard a lot of reasons for that over the years, and it's the first time I ever heard anything about Kellogg or Dr.
Yeah.
Kellogg. That is
Mhm.
Interesting.
so interesting.
Yeah, that makes me want to go find some more information. I'm like, I like history and stuff like that. So I'm like, what? Oh, go
Mhm.
ahead, say something else.
Well, I
Yes.
think
Wow.
I think it's a very interesting aside, but I think the bigger question is, you know, what made you? I mean, so you had that, I guess that spark, right, to look at that book and start thumbing through it, and then you had your calling.
Mhm.
How long ago was that?
That was in March of 2010 when God first spoke to me, sent me to that store and first spoke to me. So I've been sharing this message ever since then. And the thing that I really appreciate about this whole journey is that I know that there are a lot of hangups in the church about sex, but the majority of the people that I've spoken to, no hangups at all. about what I'm sharing,
Mm.
receiving the information. Like they know that, okay, this first lady is talking about sex. God must have given her some kind of call, you know? So, and then the other thing is when I talk to people, once they start talking about sex, it's like the floodgates open up. Like they've been holding that stuff in for a long time and never had a chance to just talk freely and openly about sex. And that's one thing that it's like one of my um, core values is that I want to provide a safe and non-judgment environment for people to talk about sex in whatever way that they want to talk about sex. And that's working.
So I think that okay, I have so many questions, but so initially, were you apprehensive at all about that actual message or the ministry of sex, just because of we know the hangups of oh you can't talk about sex, you can't, were you kind of apprehensive about it even though the Lord put it on you?
Not one speck. And I mean, not one speck.
That's awesome.
Because thank you. And I've always had an open mind about sex. I've never really been, had like a lot of hangups about it from as far as I can remember.
Mhm.
And what's so crazy about that is I had asked God, why is it that I don't have hangups about sex, and all these women that I'm talking to, they do?
Mhm.
And how am I supposed to relate to them? And I haven't been there, done that. And he took me back to when I was a teenager, and when me and my sisters, we used to be under my parents' mattress looking for change so we could buy some candy or whatever after school. And I found the book, The Joy of Sex, under my parents' mattress. So, of course, the word sex,
Right.
we always going to be curious about it. So I opened up the book and I'm just thumbing through looking at the pictures, of course. So I'm not reading anything, just looking at the pictures. Of course, I'm fascinated with the pictures.
Right.
So God took me back to that scenario, and then let me know that because of my mother's views about sex, that allowed me to, because that was not a hang up. She had that book under her mattress.
Mhm.
So whether she had hangups about that or not, it wasn't the point. The point that he brought to me was, because she didn't have hangups about sex, then I didn't have that, didn't put that on me. So I don't have a lot of hangups about sex. So I believe that a lot of women's parents, mothers, really, that's where a lot of women get their sex views from their mothers. And when God revealed that to me, he only revealed this to me probably about a year ago. And I was just like, oh my God, I was so amazed. I said, okay, so that answers that question for me.
Right.
So yeah, so no, I didn't have any apprehensions, and that was the reason why, because I guess I was because my mother didn't have the hangups, I didn't get them either, and I'm
That's
really thankful for that.
that is so interesting to me because I'm having a flashback because when we had another guest on talking about finances, one of the things he talked about was the hangups, the challenges, the issues, the misconceptions that people have about money
Mm-hmm.
they got from their parents.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And so here you are saying the same thing about sex.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, my mind is just like racing right now. Like, okay, the two things that cause the most challenges,
Mhm.
or two of the things that charge, it's usually attributed to either
Highest
sex
there.
or money,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
and the challenges are what's handed down from generation to generation,
Mhm.
as
Sure
opposed
is.
to society saying something. I mean, I know that society has its challenges and its issues, but it's
Mm-hmm.
really what's being passed down as part of our heritage is our views on sex, our views on finances. But so I'm curious.
Mm-hmm.
So you said you felt the calling in 2010. Here we
Mm-hmm.
are, 11 years later. In that time frame, what are some of the nuggets, some of the things that you would love to impart to the people that are listening right now and watching on YouTube? Some of the top things that you think will help people have a healthy, vital, tantalizing,
Satisfying.
satisfying,
Gratifying.
Gratifying.
gratifying
Uh-huh.
sexual life in their marriage.
Well, like I was sharing before, of course, the first thing is the mindset. You have to um, shift your mindset from negative views to positive views. And the other thing is once you do that, you have to practice that, because if you don't practice it, it's going to go come one day and then it's going to go out the next day. So practice, a positive mindset. Affirmations. I love affirmations. So I always share affirmations with people. I think that is so important, because affirmations, you're sharing what you want like it's already done. So instead of I want to, it's, I am already doing this, or I celebrate my sexuality, or I have amazing sex. So affirmations are another thing. And so I did want to share also a couple of ways, a couple of things that have come up with some of my clients, on how they can stay connected with each other, because it's so easy to put sex on the back burner when you have all this life stuff going on. So one of the things is to make sure that you make sex a priority, because I think I was sharing before on the non-recording that that people, that when you're stressed or when you're having some other issues, you can still come together sexually and bond and connect with each other if you have the right mindset. So so coming together, making your marriage a priority, or maybe sex a priority in your marriage, is probably the other most important thing that I've learned. And another thing, of course, is um, if you have issues, if you've done something that you don't have no business doing that made your spouse upset, please apologize and ask for forgiveness, so you can pave the way for some amazing sex. That's another thing. I think that's probably one of the most important things, even though, I did say some other stuff was important, but I really think that's probably one of the most important things, to apologize and forgive, because that really blocks a lot of the things you want to do moving forward.
Okay,
So,
so let me stop you there, because
okay.
you said apologize, ask for forgiveness for the things that are going on. My male
If you've
mind.
done something that you know your handle is doing. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. I was thinking, because my male mind is thinking, I don't know, angry sex is good too.
Well, see, I don't know about angry sex. I'm sorry. I don't know if it's a male thing or what. I don't know. I'm just saying, me personally, it's like makeup sex. I don't know about that either, because it's all sex and good for me, to
Gotcha.
me. So yeah. So I guess like that's probably along the same line. Angry sex and makeup sex.
Yeah, I
Right.
think
Yeah.
so.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Okay. I got you.
Okay. Another thing is on something that you mentioned earlier. If your wife is pleased, satisfied, gratified, having a great time in your sexual relationship, then call that a plus. Please understand that if it's dangerous for a wife's needs, not sexual needs, not to be met. A lot of people think that it's dangerous for the men's sexual needs not to be met, but it's even more dangerous for the wife's sexual needs not to be met, because that's a lot of times what causes affairs. And affairs for women are different than affairs for men.
Hmm.
Affairs for women are more emotional,
Mhm.
and the sex is connected with the emotional issues. So it's really, really hard to tear yourself away from that. So you want to make sure that your wife is pleased, satisfied and gratified, and she's really enjoying your sexual relationship. Now, like you said, it's not that the men aren't supposed to. Yes, you are supposed to. So the women are also supposed to take time to learn who their husband is, learn what pleases him sexually, and go for it like that. But I have to emphasize, please, husbands, please, please, please do not neglect your wife's sexual needs. If she shares with you a need that she has, Please don't trivialize it. Don't act like it does not matter, because it does. It's tied to her whole being. So you really may want, into her emotions. So you really may want to pay attention. And another thing I want to say is keep your ego out the bedroom. See, stuff is coming to me now as I'm talking. Keep your ego out the bedroom.
Can you elaborate on that, please?
Yeah. Okay. So a lot of, and I'm not male bashing, please. I'm being
No,
real.
no,
I'm
no.
just being
Hey,
true.
Just speaking the truth.
Come on, I'm over here taking notes, girl. Come on.
So what I've learned is that men bring everything about them into the sexual experience when they're, when they get together with their wives. And a lot of men, and their ego also, okay. So a lot of times when a husband is not really taking care of the wife, or the wife says something that she would like for the husband to do different, the husband gets defensive or gets offended, because his ego is in play. But if he comes into the bedroom with the mindset of, I'm just here to please, if she shares something with me, it's only going to make it better for her, which is going to make it better for me, then that will settle the whole getting offended, getting your ego hurt when your wife shares with you something that you may not be doing correctly, or that she would like you to do differently. For instance,
Ooh, okay, come on.
some men will just, uh, okay, you're getting ready for your sexual experience. Some men will just dive right in, grabbing the wife's vagina, grabbing, squeezing, doing a whole lot of other stuff that don't feel good to their wife.
We're gonna call that doing the Trump.
Doing the what?
The Trump.
The Trump, okay.
Just because saying just grabbed him. So.
Just grabbing, squeezing, grabbing your wife's breast too aggressively or whatever. Okay, so let's even say that the husband is stimulating his wife's vagina, okay, or his wife's clitoris. Sometimes, because men are stronger than women, they don't really understand their own strength. They'll be using too much pressure, and then it won't feel good to the wife, but the wife will just lay there in silence and won't say anything. But then when your wife does get the courage to speak up and share with you that, you're doing it too hard, I don't like how you're doing it, it's not about you getting mad about her telling you that you're rubbing her clitoris too hard, you're not stimulating it right. It's nothing for you to get offended or irritated about. It's just for you to listen to what she's saying, make the adjustment, and move on from there.
Keep it moving.
Because she knows what she likes most of the time, not necessarily to be able to verbalize it, but when she feels it, she knows that, okay, this is something I like, or this is something that I don't like. So if your wife says, okay, could you do that a little softer? Or could you do that a little slower? Then just do it a little softer and do it a little slower. Because trust me, we are not trying to offend our husbands. We just want to have an amazing sexual experience with you guys, so we could keep on wanting to come back and keep on wanting to come back.
Hey,
That's right.
I'm down for keeping on. So what's funny is there was a book that was written it's probably one of the best-selling books of all time, but there's a book called She
Comes First.
She Comes First. And the whole premise is handle your business so that way she receives that pleasure, and then the world is going to be great. Because if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy.
Nobody.
And can I say something about that too? One more thing I want to say about the orgasm. Okay, the woman comes first, because you said she comes first, and if she's happy. Just remember that you don't make your wife come. No man makes their wife come. What they do is they They assist because she's a huge part of her own sexual experience and her own sexual satisfaction, because she has to be able to relax and then just let her orgasm come to her. So we love that you guys are working hard and that y'all want us to be satisfied, but her orgasm is not really about you so much as it is about her. Okay? You got that?
Who invited her? Who invited you? No, that's good. No, this is good stuff. I don't think I've taken this many notes ever.
Right. I'm being like, remember what Mavis said?
That's right. Yeah. So I mean, just allow your wife to relax and pay attention to how she's responding to what you're doing to her sexually. Not how she's reacting, how she's responding. If she's responding in a way, and wives, you have to be truthful. You can't just be, moaning and groaning and making noise like they're really doing something and they not. Because let me just share this little story real quick. There was this husband and wife couple, TV couple. Oh my God, I'll never forget this. Prominent husband and wife TV couple. So they had this little group thing, and they were on talking about sex. So the pastor, he was just all, pumping himself up, talking about how bomb he is in the bedroom and how he'd be doing all this and that to his wife and blah, blah, blah. And she obviously was at the point where she couldn't take it no more. And she said, it ain't all that, on national TV in front of everybody. Oh my God. I said, oh my God, she is so not right. But because she was not ever saying anything to her husband about what he was or wasn't doing right, he didn't know. So he's not going to know if the wife does not tell him. So you guys, husbands, you just can't assume, that you're doing everything right, because most of the time, if it's not what your wife wants, then it's not going to be right. So just pay attention to how she responds to what you're doing to her sexually. Ladies, if you enjoy what your husbands are doing, let them know that you're enjoying it. If you're not enjoying it, sometimes you can say something right there in the sexual experience. Some things you have to wait until you get out of the bedroom to talk about. Okay. So, but just remember, be real, ladies, just be real. It's going to be so much better for everybody if you just real with it. Don't be silent and have that conversation with your husband, because he want to please you, like Ernie said, he wants to please you. Absolutely. That's the thing I love so much about husbands, about good men and good husbands. They really want to please us, and we're their top priority. And we really have to understand that. So when we help them along, it's just better for us.
Right.
Okay.
And that's good that you even brought that up, because I was going to ask the question about honesty. I mean, I know women that they won't say anything, or they've not said anything about what they don't like out of fear of hurting their husband's feelings. The girls get together and be like, well, but if you don't like it, he doesn't know that you don't like it. He think he doing something, like the one pastor you said, he thinking he all that, based probably on the response that he was getting from his wife.
Right.
But it was all a lie. And so she was just like, it ain't all that. And now you've embarrassed him.
Super
and
embarrassed. Oh my God. It was, I felt so bad for that man. I promise you I did. Because he didn't have all that, all that chest afterwards. So I was like, oh Lord, she is not right. But anyway, yeah.
I don't know that I would have wanted to be a fly on the wall after that.
Oh man. Yeah.
Right.
But you bring this to the forefront. And in one of our commercials, we've done some research recently on the causes of divorce. What are the most prominent, most consistent things that pop up? And the top three, I mean, this, whether it's 1, 2, or 3, sometimes the positioning changes, but the three things that always come to the forefront of what causes divorce in America are communication, intimacy, and finances.
Absolutely. Top 3.
And I'm listening to you, and it sounds like really it should be basically finances and intimacy because communication is a part of
Both.
communication. Yeah, both.
Yeah,
Right.
it's a part. I mean, that's just a part of everyday life. You have to communicate about everything in life. So that's almost like a standard that communication is something that's really necessary. You're right. But yeah, finances, intimacy, and communication. Those are the top three.
So now one thing that you said too, you said we need to make I'm sorry, in our marriages, couples, we need to make sex a priority.
Hmm.
So a lot of people feel like sex should just be spontaneous and you shouldn't have to put it on a calendar, because if you put it on a calendar, that's like going to the doctor, and how are you going to get stimulated from that? What would you say to someone who's like, I don't want to put it on the calendar, we should just be spontaneous and just want to do it? How would you address that?
Okay. Spontaneous sex, in my view, is overrated. It's number one. Spontaneous sex. Okay. People are so used to watching the movies and TV and seeing, how the people just come into the room, tearing each other's clothes off, kissing like mad, and then jump into the bed. And then, of course, the next scene is everybody is all satiated, right? That's the reason why people think spontaneous sex is so bomb. But when you think about spontaneous sex, think about, because this is what I think about. Okay, most of the time you'd have been out all day at work. Y'all probably musty, sweaty, snaky booty crack, smelly vagina, all that. It's probably all that's going on. And none of that is attractive when you're trying to have your sexual experiences. It's not attractive. So what you should do, yes, spontaneous, if you want to, do all that, if that's your thing, hey, go ahead and do it. But just like I said, for me, me and my hubby, we live by the schedule and the sex. We, even when it's spontaneous, like we might decide that day or that evening, we always get cleaned up first. Always. That way, I mean, you could think about what you need to tub, you can think about what y'all about to get into.
Mm-hmm.
That's anticipation. You could
Right.
think about something that your guy's done to you that you really love, that really made you feel good. I don't know, what the men do. They probably just be trying to hurry up and have that shower so they can get up in that bed. Okay, but that's cool too. But there's time for you to relax, and time, because women need to be relaxed in order for them to really enjoy their sexual experiences. And quickies, okay, they're for the guys. Some women like them, most women don't. It's just for the guys to not have to worry about being romantic and taking care of their woman first. So that's like a gift that we give to our men, whenever they want to do that. Not that often, though, but let me say that, just whenever they want to do that every now and then. So, so that's my view about the spontaneous sex thing. If you want to just jump in the bed, right after a long day of work, and you can enjoy your sexual experience like that, then that's great for you. But if you want to get something more out of your sexual experience, I think scheduling is amazing. I think cleaning yourselves up is even more amazing. And that'll even give you time to just kind of relax and even have some pillow talk beforehand, or whatever it is that you want to do. So that's my view on spontaneous sex.
I like how you said about the anticipation part of it,
Hmm.
because it gives you something to look forward to, like while you're getting yourself ready. It's almost like I'm going out, so I'm gonna make sure I'm smelling good, I'm looking good, or
Hmm.
I'm feeling good, and I'm anticipating this. So I like that.
Yeah, and then you can get your mind,
Mhm.
just want to say this, and you can get your mind in the right place.
Mm.
That helps you to really prepare to really enjoy what you're getting ready to get into. And I know I always say, when I'm in a tub, I'm like, I am going to have an amazing sexual experience with my husband tonight. I promise you.
Okay.
Say that every time.
Hold on. I got to write my notes. Get cleaned up, do affirmations in shower.
Yeah.
But but you know what? You really actually, I'm keeping it real right now, right? First off, thank you for keeping it real.
Right.
You're welcome.
You know, the R in our word crazy, our acronym, R is about keeping it real.
Oh, okay.
And because, well, the acronym for crazy stands for compassionate, real, accountable, zealous, and yielding. That's crazy.
Okay.
And when I don't think it get no more real than when you said stinky booty crack.
Smelly vagina. Yeah,
Okay,
no.
so that's real. But no, but what I'm keeping it real. You actually made me really think about something right now, because everything you were describing, and maybe not that I haven't thought of it quite like on this level, maybe I haven't, but we talk about foreplay. And I think that sometimes we restrict the definition of foreplay to like oral sex or something that's happening in the bed, the lead up to the crescendo, the grand finale,
Right.
the orgasm, or what
The
have you.
act. Mm-hmm.
But I was just sitting here thinking that, okay, well, scheduling can be part of foreplay. That's part of, you schedule, and then you, like you were talking about, building up that anticipation, you know, the shower. If you think of something that, like you said, that you liked before, you can send like, you know, a little flirty text like, yo, I can't wait till you do this. It's like dropping a little hint, but that's all that's
Absolutely.
foreplay.
It absolutely is.
Foreplay is supposed to be about getting your mind right. So that way, you know, she can crescendo, he can crescendo, but you're doing it together at a higher level.
Right. And that's one of the things that a few of my clients have shared with me, that, you know, when their husband wants to get busy with them, basically, they want him to start like in the morning, basically sending texts, sending romantic messages, sending some nasty pictures. I don't know, whatever it is that they like them to do, you know, going back and forth a little bit during the day, so they can, you know, by the time they get home and get to each other, then they're in a place and in a way where they're really ready to, you know, get their business on for real.
Well, and I don't know if we got this on this take, but I know before, when he who shall not be named did not tape. But you made the comment, you said that amazing sex starts in the mind. And that's something that leads up to, you know, that's a positive for the schedule, you know. It's like, oh,
Absolutely.
okay, I know tomorrow, blah blah blah, whatever. So now I'm getting my mind ready, and I'm getting my mind right, and everything I'm thinking about, yeah, Levy, remember when you did that, you know? Or I could be like, we ain't doing that again, my back hurt from, you know.
Absolutely. I mean, that's so true. And just the thought of it keeps you kind of focused, because life is going to happen. Life is going to come in. It's going to take your minds off of each other. That's why, and then even by the time you get ready to get in your sexual experience, something could have happened to make you say, oh, I don't even feel like doing that, or whatever. You might be tired or whatever. But that's what, when you have to remember the priority, your husband and your wife and your sexual relationship is a priority, because this thing, first of all, I'm gonna say, because it feels so doggone good, number one, but the connection and the bonding and the closeness that it gives you, that is like glue to me. That keeps you together when other stuff, you know, outside stuff is, you know, coming in and really trying to cause you problems. That kind of, you know, keeps you bonding, because it's something just between the two of you that you can do, that's personal, that's private, and it don't involve nobody else.
That is amazing.
That's bomb right there. Seriously.
I'm like, so Mavis, where you got to send us your invoice. This is so good. I hope the couples are really getting something out of this. This isn't one of those episodes that you should just listen to once. I mean, I know that me personally, I'm recording it. I'm going to have to do the editing, but I know I'm going to be listening to it on more than one occasion.
Well, that's good. I'm happy about that, because my wish, my goal is to share this message with as many people as possible, so believers could get rid of their hangups and start really enjoying this gift that God gave to us, to tell you the truth. So yeah, keep on, listen to it over and over, whoever needs to.
Like Ronald's over here going like, yeah, listen again.
Like,
listen
I'm tapping them when you say that. I'm like, did you get that? Did you get that? No.
Yeah, her little sexual innuendo texts are going to be like, okay, go back, listen to the podcast, looking at minute 7 minutes 10 seconds. Listen to that one.
Mavis said.
We might have to put a sign up in the bedroom that says Mavis said.
Yes, and that's another little cute thing. But sticky notes, put sticky notes, put messages on sticky notes and put them on a mirror, put them, in your car or wherever, you want to put them where, I don't know if you got little kids and maybe not on the refrigerator, but where just you guys can see. So another thing you can
Right.
do, even, when you're scheduling and you're anticipating your evening. So, or just something to just even keep you connected, a fun thing to keep you connected.
This is amazing. So, Mavis, you are a sex coach. Do you only work with clients face to face, or do you work with them virtually? How does
I
somebody
do
work
both.
with you?
Yeah, I do both. Before the pandemic, of course, it was all face to face. Then, once the pandemic hit, of course, it's been more virtually. But because I coach, the information is what's important, and for the person to actually put the things into practice that I share with them. Because I used to teach teach teenagers how to drive. I worked for this company called Master Drive, and we taught teenagers how to drive. So we would have them for the 6 hours of mandatory driving training, but we would always share with them, you have to practice with your parents in between time, because that's the way you're going to master driving. So it's the same thing with coaching. We share information with you, give you tools, you put it into practice, and you keep practicing and keep practicing until you master that thing.
Well, this sounds like the kind of homework I would look forward to.
And that's just amazing.
Ooh,
I love when men are like really into it and open, and not like so ego driven till they have this block and then I don't want to hear nothing nobody got to say. I love when men are open, because they care enough about their wives and about their sexual relationship to want it to be the best that it could ever be.
so that's what I was going to ask you also. I know it started out, your ministry started out with working with married, Christian married women, and showing them how to enjoy sex. So do you work with couples also
Hmm.
to, okay.
Hmm.
And in working with couples, um do you find that you have to almost, how do I say this, not break down, I'm almost kind of break down the walls, and like, do you have to almost like soothe I'm picking on the men right now, but do you have to kind of like soothe the men over, be like, it's okay, the stuff that we're saying, how do they respond to you? Are they kind of like, what's she gonna say?
No, yeah, you do have to soothe, but it's just the way that you share things with men. And because my hubby teaches me a lot, I learn a lot from him, and he shares a lot with me how I need to approach men.
Mhm.
And it is a soothing, because you don't want your husband to put the wall up. You want them to be open enough and relaxed enough and trust you enough to hear and receive what it is, me, that I have to say to them. So I haven't had that issue with, as far as I know, with any of the men that I've worked with. Because, even in our marriage retreat, I we what we did one year was I took all the men and my husband took all the women, and we just had our conversations so they could see from a woman's perspective, what's going on with their wives, and so how the wives could see from a man's perspective what's going on with the husbands. So I haven't had resistance or anything like that. But yes, just the way that I come at the men is very, very important, very important, because we don't want the defense and the wall coming up, because that'll defeat the purpose.
And
I want to get a question in.
I wasn't gonna make have a question. I was gonna say, I think just kind of just what you just said about the way we have to watch how we approach them, because sex is so, it's like you brought, stated, sorry, that men bring everything that they are into sex, ego and that kind of thing. So when we say what we don't like, that's why it's important how we say it, because I'm not trying to say, babe, I don't like that, to crush him. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
trying to say, babe, I don't like that, to let him know that I just don't like it. That doesn't mean you're not a good lover. That doesn't mean you suck in bed or anything
Mm-hmm.
like that. That just means that I just didn't like that. But I,
Mm-hmm.
I like how you said that. You have to kind of watch how you say it to them,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that they're so ego driven.
Mm-hmm.
So good
Right.
point.
I
Yeah.
think I think we as men have to realize that And you know, to a certain extent, women as well. I think it's let's just say that spouses, people that the couples that are engaged in anything, in any type of communication, whether that communication is in intimacy or sex, what have you, is that we can't take it too personal. Because if we were to go into that's like me coming into your store and you own an ice cream store, and I walk in and you say, "Hey, you know what? Here's some chocolate chip," and then I taste it and I think, "Oh, you know what? I don't. It's okay." But then you say, "Okay, well, how about this?" And I ask, "Well, let me try the chocolate," and then I try the chocolate and I'm like, "Oh my god, I love this chocolate." But then you're still getting the chocolate from the same store that you're getting the chocolate chip. You just said that I just wasn't a fan of the
Didn't
chocolate
like that
chip,
flavor.
but I
Right.
love
Yeah.
your chocolate.
Right. You just
And
prefer chocolate. That's so good. I love that analogy. But go ahead.
and
Yeah.
so, men, it's you and her.
hmm
There's nobody else in the room, I
Oh
hope.
my God. Oh,
And
if
it's you.
that is so. I love that you said that because that is a point I wanted to make, but you made it, so that's perfect. It's just you two. Oh my God. Go ahead.
Well, it's just you and her. So if she says, "Babe, you know what? I didn't really enjoy chocolate chip, but I love when we chocolate." Or I love when we do sherbet or whatever. She's not saying she doesn't like you because it's still just the two of you. She's just saying that, okay,
hmm
let's switch to another flavor. It's
hmm
still you, it's still her,
hmm
it's just a different flavor. It's not you. And I
That's
think
all.
that we have to get that mindset changed.
Yeah. Absolutely. And
Because
that's
it's
why I say, no. Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, cuz come on, when we go in the bedroom, it's supposed to be 31 flavors. Let's go.
That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's along the lines of, keeping the ego out the bedroom because you get more accomplished. You benefit more. Both will benefit more with the ego or with the husband not taking it personally. Even the
Exactly.
wife would, bringing the ego into the bedroom. Either one, because you don't take it personal. And it's like, okay, so this is what this person likes. I mean, it's just like if your wife likes candy and you bring her flowers, or if your husband likes, like you said, chocolate and you bring him, vanilla. It's not that he doesn't like the fact that you did it or you. It's just that this is not my preference,
Mhm.
and that's just it. Everybody has their preferences, and that's what everybody really needs to understand. Everyone has their preferences, so you want to make a person happy, hey, give them their preference.
Come on. Well, Mavis, we are so grateful for you coming on and sharing with us.
Of course.
So first though, how can someone get in touch with
That's what I
Mavis?
want to do.
Oh, okay, sorry. I want to make sure we get that out there because I mean, it's one thing we kind of started talking about people, it's like you can't talk about sex. Sex is so even though no one got here without sex,
Right,
somebody
right,
had sex or there was a release of some sort.
right.
But how people need to be able to feel comfortable and how do they get in touch with you?
Well, they can send me an email at askmavis@mavismcknight.com. That would be the easiest way. But I also would like to encourage people to visit my website at www.mavismcknight.com. You can also, connect with me through email on off of my website also. But I like people to go on my website, look around, see, learn more about who I am and what I do and who I serve, and get some nuggets off of my website, some interesting, intriguing things, and then connect with me, like I said, through the email. I offer a complimentary 15 to 20 minute coaching consultation. And in the consultation, we can find out what your issue is or what's going on with you and what we can work on if we end up fitting, as a client and a coach. So that's also out there. They can get to there through my website or email. Just put comp in the subject line. So I'll know that that's what they want them with the complimentary consultation. So yeah.
Fantastic. So we're also going to put that in our show notes
Hmm.
so that way everybody can actually just click and go.
So before we close out, is there anything else that you want to leave with us?
Well, one more thing, and before I do leave that with you, I just wanted to share that I do have a workshop coming up,
Oh, good.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
Tell
that's
us.
good. You said tell
and
us.
and it's called the Ultimate Saved and Sexy Virtual Workshop, and it is for women, for Christian wives and engaged believers. It's all about sexual freedom within marriage. Because with the hangups that we were talking about tonight, a lot of women get married because of everything that they had learned before. Once they get into the marriage, they so hung up, they still cannot relax and enjoy their sexual experience. So I share a lot of information about how to be sexually free with your husband and in your marriage. So that's going to be April 29th through May 1st. And I can, send the link to you, so people will be able to just click on and register.
Please do that. Yeah, send that so I can add it to the show notes so everyone has it. We might actually, I know that we announced this as episode 139, but we might move this up just so that we give people time to really get ahead of the workshop so they can utilize this, because we believe in what you're doing that much.
Yeah, we
thank you
believe
so
in
much. I
sex.
appreciate that. Yay.
So it's called the Ultimate Saved and Sexy
Virtual workshop, because it is going to be virtual. It's it's going to be online. Actually, it's going to be within my Saved and Sexy Circle group, and it's going to be Facebook Live.
Okay.
So anybody that signs up, they have to be in the group in order to be able to access the workshop.
So they would become part of the group, and then
Mm-hmm.
okay. And where are you located at?
Well, I'm located in LA.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
You on the West Coast with us. Okay, good.
Uh-huh.
Good.
Yeah,
Okay.
born, bred, and raised here.
Okay. I can't wait till we get to do a workshop hands on.
I know
We can do a hands-on workshop tonight.
Ooh-wee.
Because I'm gonna go upstairs like Mavis said.
That's right. Get to practicing. You got some information tonight.
Amen.
That is so funny. We got daily homework from this podcast. So.
That's right.
So we might have you on every week.
I know. Look, and back with Mavis.
Okay, look, I'm so open for that. I truly am.
That might be something we need to discuss. It would be nice to have an Ask Mavis segment.
Yeah,
I would love that. I would love it.
I like it. I mean, because people need to be opened, like you said, especially, and I just have to share this. We were in church one day. Well, church was over. This is when we were going. It's like 2 years ago, and I made some kind of offhanded comment about Lovey because we were getting ready to take a picture. And I told my mom, I said, Lovey's being bad. I said, he's pinching my booty. And one of the other church ladies was like, just frowned her face all up. And I laughed to myself. I was like, we're married. He could do that. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Just having fun and joking. It's like a lot of people need to get over their hangups and really embrace this. So yeah, we're definitely going to be promoting this workshop. So
amen.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And see, that's part of what I wanted to share, in closing is about the hangups. Just think about why you have the hangups, where the hangups came from. Sometimes, people tell us stuff or we learn stuff that serves us during that time, but then we grow out of that stuff, but we're still kind of hanging on to that same old stuff. So if somebody has, taught you something negative or told you something negative about sex, and it has you really turning your nose up or, doing like the ladies in the church, just think about something different. Think about this is a gift from God. If it's a gift from God, it has to be something amazing, because God, all good comes from God. And just like that, that scripture says about everything that comes from God is good. I like to add, especially sex, because it's the gift that bonds and connects, and it relieves stress, it relieves pain, it clears up your skin, it keeps a lot of women from walking around here with a scowl on their face. You don't want your wife scowling.
Come on.
And if more women understood about this gift and were able to relax and receive the beauty of this gift, then it would be a whole lot more smiles and happiness going on in this world. Right. And I just want people to just think about making your sex and your marriage a priority. Just think about making it more of a priority. Don't put it on a back burner from this day forth. because that's not the place for it to be. It's supposed to be in the forefront of your life so you can absolutely enjoy this amazing gift that God has given to your marriage.
I like that.
I like that. That's a great close.
Yeah.
Well, Mavis, one thing that we do at the end of every single podcast is we pull from what we call our, it's our I Can for couples.
Okay. That's cute. Oh,
And so there's 40, you
Can.
talked about affirmations. So there's 40 different affirmations in every one of the cans.
Okay.
And these are just like little I can statements. And so we always pull one for the husband and one for the wife.
Right.
And so whatever Snooks reads, that's going to be your affirmation for the week. And I'm going to
Okay.
pull one for Mr. McKnight.
Okay.
This is so funny too, because ours says, I can give my partner more attention. Ooh, la, la.
Ooh, okay.
She getting an A in her home or,
Ah,
oh, okay. We did
Okay.
not plan this. We pulled from the can randomly.
What'd she say?
So mine and Mr. McKnight's says,
okay.
I can put my significant other's needs first.
Hey.
Oh.
Hey, in the A, in the
Now I'm just
works
gonna
out
put my
really
hubby's
well.
needs.
funny.
That's
I
good.
like that.
Wow.
So
Yeah, and I'm
what's-
writing that down right now.
Okay.
I can put my spouse's needs in front of my own. Is that what it said?
It says, I can put my significant other's needs first.
First. Okay.
And don't
Oh,
go to
he-
him, Mavis, do
he-
not go to him saying, I need a new Lexus.
Why not?
I know that's right. I know that's right.
Okay.
Yeah. This is right along his alley anyway, so that's gonna be really easy for him. Share that with him.
Very nice. Well, hey, again, we want to thank you. And like we always say to our listeners and to you as well, until the next time, be blessed.
Bye-bye.
Right. Bye-bye.
That worked out well.
That was good.
Absolutely. You are so welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
You just pushed the mic. She can't hear you. So,
I just turned my mic off and pushed it and everything. I was like, shoot, we need maybe a couple more episodes with Mavis. I like that. Ask Mavis.
you know what?
I love that. I absolutely do.
I got to
love
figure out a
that.
way to figure that out. I don't know how, because we tape usually weekly. If we can get to the point where we can plan a little bit better and start taping ahead of time, there might be a way for us to be able to also do like a very short segment where we
Mhm.
ask a question, so it's like an Ask Mavis type question, and then we turn around and are able to insert it. I'm just trying to figure out how we would do that
Oh,
video.
yeah.
It may not be up on the YouTube, but it might be something we can get into the audio piece,
Mhm.
because that would be a lot easier to manage
Mhm.
Okay.
from an editing standpoint.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let me work on that. I mean, let me do that for a little bit, try and figure out how we can make that work consistently, because that would be
Yes,
kind of cool.
Sounds good. It really would be. Sounds good to me. As you can see, I love talking about this.
Oh yeah, you get energized. I mean, you light up.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's amazing. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
And what was that? What was that book you said? Was it?
It was called 21 Questions Christian Women Have About Sex.
Intimate. Yeah, intimate issues is the title.
Oh, okay.
And 21 questions Christian women have about sex.
This is so cool.
And was there another book too that you had?
She comes first.
Oh, that's what. Never mind. I got it.
You know what? So
No,
we got to tell
no.
Fernando that we were able to collaborate.
That's right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Right.
that definitely works. He'll be happy about that.
Yes,
That's
ma'am.
awesome. Yes,
Yes.
I enjoyed it. I really did. Thank you so much.
I
for
did
this
too.
Information.
Of course,
Sorry for the mix-up earlier, but you know what? I feel like it still flowed.
it did. It did. No, it was fine. I didn't have no issue with the starting over at all.
That's so
So that was fine for me.
Yeah, but she'll never let me live it down.
No, he won't.
Huh?
She'll never let me live it down.
I know.
Next
I
time
know.
he did something, I'll be like, episode 139. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, that's all you're gonna have to
All
say, huh?
Well, Mavis, thank you so
Sorry.
much. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Thank you.
Thank
Mavis.
you. You're welcome. You guys do the same.
I need a couple of pictures that you
Okay.
can send to me so that when I do the promotion for the podcast, that you can just send them over to me so I can add them into some of the promo that we're going to be doing.
Okay. Okay, now do these have to be like professional pictures, or can they be
No.
like, look, some of my fun pictures?
No, some of your
Just
fun
take on
pictures.
my
Yeah, you know,
camera.
just
Okay.
shots of you, or we can actually just, like I said, only about maybe like 2 or 3 pictures. So that way I can
Okay.
try and put something together.
Okay.
Sounds good. All right, my
All
friend.
right. Yeah, all righty. Thanks
Enjoy.
you guys both for
Okay.
this. This was amazing.
Thank you.
Thank
so
you.
much.
Appreciate it.
We really appreciate you.
All
Okay,
right. Thank
bye-bye.
you. Okay. Bye-bye.